AI in healthcare or robotics in surgery?
AI in healthcare, yes.
Hospitals or home care? Where is the real innovation happening?
That's a good one. Right now, it's hospitals, yes.
In MedTech, the path from innovation to market is never easy. Strategy, regulation, and execution all have to be perfectly aligned. And that's how Mittal Consulting comes in, giving companies the way to grow smarter and move faster. Thank you very much for being with us
Thank
today.
you. Thank you. Nice to be here.
So let's start talking about Meta Consulting to put a bit of context to the audience who have never heard about you.
Yes. Yeah, so Mittal Consulting started 5 years ago. We actually completed 5 years last month. We are the only medtech consulting company who is built for medtech startups. And we do regulatory consulting for medical device startups, right from prototype stage all the way to commercialization. We work with clients all over the world, but mostly in US, Canada, and Europe. And we help them get through the FDA at whatever stage they are at.
Indeed. Now, before we dive deep into the whole mission of Mittal Consulting, we're going to play a game. It's called This or That. I'm going to give you two options, and you're going to choose the first one that comes to your mind. Okay? So let's start.
Yeah,
Number one, FDA or EU MDR.
FDA. Yeah, for sure.
Class 2 devices or class 3? Which one is more fun to work with?
uh, Class 3.
AI in healthcare or robotics in surgery?
AI in healthcare. Yes.
Hospitals or home care? Where is the real innovation happening?
That's a good one. Right now, it's hospitals. Yes.
Build, build in-house or outsource to experts?
Uh, Mix of both. I mean, that's, yeah. I mean, I would lean towards outsource, more efficient, but yeah.
Indeed. Great. So now, talking about Meta Consulting again, what is your actual role in the medtech space? How do you enhance the pathways of companies that comes to you in a strategic level?
Yes. So since we only work with startups, we focus a lot on strategy. And most of our clients, we start them with what is called a regulatory strategy report. So we look at the product, we look at what they have corresponded with the FDA before, what their plan is to commercialize, where do they fit in the market with the product they have. A lot of our founders who we work with are physician entrepreneurs or first-time entrepreneurs. They are very passionate about the product. So it's our job to help them with their passion, but also make them familiar with the reality of what the industry is like and what it means to commercialize. Um, Not all products get commercialized, not all innovation reaches the patient. So we have to be realistic on what type of indications would be best for them to commercialize first, and then how we can make their grand vision reality before they can fit into the market where they thought they would. So it's a journey. We make sure that we are realizing their passion, what they made the product to do, but also be realistic on how to get there in a strategic manner.
Is there any common mistake that companies have, let's say, as a pattern in an early stage that comes to get your services?
Yeah. So, like I said, working with startups, I mean, I wouldn't call them mistakes because they are steps in which they either work or not, and if they don't work, you learn from it. So
Yes.
so in that way, um, the common pitfalls which we generally see is not looking, thinking that the timeline is very short for the regulatory process, and it is not. It is changing. It's variable. There's a lot going on at the FDA in the market with the product, with the changes they have made to the product, with the guidelines changing. So you have to take that into account. And like, if you think it's gonna get done in 3 months, it might take a year or maybe more. So we make sure they're realistic about their timeline. So that's one of the pitfalls we see. And the second one I would say is having a tunnel vision. Sometimes when you're working in a lab, you are very focused on the technology and how it's going to change the world, and it's going to change the patient care. Uh, but not, like I said, not all of them make it to the market. So being realistic about where's your product market fit and how can you get there is one of the pitfalls we see uh, with the startups. Yeah.
Yeah, you navigate both regulatory landscapes, the FDA, and also for companies who are looking to upscale in the EU. Um, how do you, I don't know, compare these two approaches as well? How faster, how complex is the regulatory landscape in between these two?
Between US and Europe.
Yes.
Yes. So as you know, the EU MDR, they changed their whole guidelines 7 or 8 years ago. I think. I think they're still figuring out what the best method is. It's never easy to have 30 plus countries have one unified body. So they have 20, 30 bodies in which you submit your application. So every country is different. I would say Europe is more complex. FDA has been the gold standard for regulations across the world for more than 50 years now. And it still be the case. They are the most cost effective, I would say. So comparing the two, the timelines at FDA are much faster than what they are in Europe. It's because they have a strict timeline on when they have to approve or reject your application. Like for the pre-subs, they have 60 days to provide feedback, and they meet that. Whereas in EU, it can vary from notified body to notified body, and with the new regulations, it's harder for startups to uh, be cost effective going through the EU
Yes.
MDR process.
Um, when a startup has to think of regulation, one of the feelings can be, is this going to uh, interrupt the fast pace that, let's say, they have? How do you see this question mark they have, and how do you guide them through this?
Yes, yeah. So every entrepreneur or CEO, they want to go as fast as possible. Either they have commitments to their company, either they have commitments to the investors. Investors are also pressuring to for them to meet a certain timeline. So we get that. We know that it has to be fast paced, and that way we have our processes built in so that at least on the regulatory front, we are as efficient as one can be. Whether it's meeting with team members, which you have, the timings of it, the process which we have is being a fully remote company gives us that flexibility to work round the clock from companies all over the world. So that really helps in making the timeline go as smooth as possible. Um, but at the same time, communication is the key. So if it's going to take time, if there are delays based on some data came out which they are not expecting, that's going to cause some delays. So during our strategy meetings, we take care of that and make sure that they realize this is what's going to be taking time in the future, so they can budget in for that time and have realistic timelines.
Um, how would you advise, not thinking as a consulting party, but let's say thinking as a startup, to get familiarized with these bodies, regulation, consulting? What is the best advice for them to choose with whom to work?
Yes. So uh, the thing with it, so most of them, they ask for if you have done the similar specialty submissions before, and that's where we come in, because we do all types of submissions, whether it's cardiology, neurology, ophthalmology is big, AISMD, pediatrics. So we know each and every individual branch at FDA and how they look at that particular submission. So we know what to look out for. We know what's important during the process, making sure that all of your submissions are written at the top technical by a top technical writers in a way which is FDA can understand. So that's one way. And then what was the second part of your question?
Um, yes, how would a startup select with whom to work when, I mean, there's millions of options always to work with consulting
Yes.
companies. What makes Mittal Consulting different and special
Yes.
for these companies to navigate this
Yes.
complex?
So what makes us different is, first of all, we are built around startups. So our processes are built around what startups need. A lot of times you go to a large company, they don't have the attention they need, which they need to go through the process. So we have weekly meetings, bi-weekly meetings. We meet daily up until before the submission. We show up in person in DC for FDA meetings. So that's what sets us apart. On top of that, we have ex-FDA consultants on our team, which startups really need but they cannot afford. So that's one way that we bring them on project basis, and we have them review our applications before they go out. So we have a core technical team who are the best technical writers for submissions, and then we have ex-FDA consultants who look at the packet we have created to make sure they're sound. So in the long run, um, the, the packets we submit, especially the pre-subs, we get the most positive feedback from the FDA. So you're not doing multiple pre-subs. You're not going back to your drawing board doing the testing which you didn't know you were supposed to do with the FDA. So in the long run, we are much more cost effective because of the processes we have in place, which are specifically built for startups.
Indeed. And to finalize, a piece of advice. Lately, we heard about FDA shutdown. Companies are starting to suffer timelines interruption. How companies should navigate these difficult times? That's not, I mean, it's common for this to happen.
Yes, that's a good question. So I've been asked around that today at the conference as well, like what's going on with the shutdown, what should we expect. Um, so one thing I would like the audience to know is FDA still works during the shutdown. If you have an application which is pending, which is under review, even if it was the one day before the shutdown, as per MDUFA terms, they are supposed to work on it. Meetings are still taking place. It's the new applications which they are not taking right now. It's the new pre-submissions which they are not taking right now. And overall, historically, the most number of days for a shutdown was 35 days. So that happened, I think, in 2018. And if you look at last 50 years, 70 years, uh, the total number of days which the government shut down, the maximum was 35 days. So we are hoping it will sort out pretty soon. Averages between 2 and 7 days. Sometimes it's 10 days. So it's not that big of a delay. Yes, there will be catch-up stuff to do after that, but it should not affect the timelines as much.
Indeed, and that's why you are here, willing to guide them.
Yes.
Thank
Yes,
you very much.
absolutely. All
Thank you,
right.
Mridul.
Thank you.
See you around and
Yeah.
hope to see you in MedTech World events.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon.